got some more work to do on this little pump element. What it needs now is a clevis making for the end. I can basically make it however I want. The only thing I've got to make sure it's got a 6mm slot in a 6mm reamed hole. I've got a bit of key steel here, so I'm going to make it out of that. A little bit of work on a 4-jaw chuck, a little bit of work on a milling machine. What it's for, it's actually a force pump for testing model steam boilers. I've got that bit to do, and he's got the valve it screws onto, and I think he's going to do the links. Once we get it done, we'll get it back here and I'll put it onto a big pressure gauge and see what sort of pressure we can get out of it. The first thing I'm going to do is find the centre of that and put the 8mm threads in. I want to do it on the lathe because I want to round this end off as well. What I could do is put it in a 4-jaw chuck and put a clock on each face. I could simply scrape across and centre pop it. But I've got a new piece of gear for the milling machine and I want to try that. So I'm going to simply pop it in the vise like that. Nip the vise up. Use a square. And just looking down through there you can see the white light behind it. I'll move the camera so you can see the white light behind it. Right, so that's a square up against it, and with this white background you can clearly see that it's not quite line square. It wants to go across that way. All we do is simply a little tap and stick. Right, so we've gone too far on purpose. So now all we do is gently, right, that's touching all the way up, so that's got to be square. No light through there, so I'm pretty happy that that's lying at 90 degrees to everything. This is the new tool I've got for the milling machine. I did some of those angle bracket cutouts for a lad. He come to pick them up and he gave us this. It's a really nice bit of kit. When it touches, as the light comes on and it makes a noise. I have got a one similar, but it's not that reliable. Right, so that's a 10mm ball. So basically, when that touches, you have 5mm from the edge. So we'll give it a try just to find the centre of this. If we'll lock that off there, wind it along, nice and gently, more gently than that, John. And the second it touches, there. Right, I've zeroed the axis, I'll do it again. Absolutely spot on. Right, so we'll take it to the other side. Once again, till it just touches. And if I half that, that's going to put us exactly in the centre. Just make sure it is down. Right, that's the reading I've been given, and simply, and that's half of it. So all we need to do to 0, and that's right in the centre. I could actually drill and tap this on the milling machine, but I want to put it in the lathe so I can knock the corners off there. So all that centre mark will be for is to make it easy for me to set it up in the 4-jaw chuck. You can see on the front of the chuck there's lines round it. They're not there to make it look pretty, they're there to help you line things up in a chuck. So basically I've lined all the jaws up with the edge of there, and obviously it needs to be a lot closer in to get that bit of square bar in. Wherever I put it. Right, so we need to be a lot closer. So we'll bring it down until, say, that one there lines up with the edge. Same on the other side. That's too tight, so we'll bring it back a little bit. And that's not bad. So if we nip that into there, looking at these two marks now, they're somewhere near, so we should be able to, that one and this one. That's going to be somewhere near, it's not a million miles away. So now all we need to do is clock this in, drill and tap that hole. You can buy or make a spring-loaded centre for doing this, but I'll just use this dead centre. Just a little wee bit of weight on there. You can see that moving now. We put a clock gauge on there. Right, we've got a clock gauge. It's on centre height. So we'll touch it off. And we've got 40 thou movement, which means it's not running through. So if we find the highest point, that's as close to me as it gets. It's between those two jaws. So if we loosen off that one, and tighten up that one, and that one, we've halved it, so that's 20 thou. So now it wants to go across that way. Loosen that one, nip this one up, getting better. Right, I'll settle for that. Any better, and I've got a clock gauge when we guts in. Tap and drill for 8mm is 6.8. And I'm going to put 15mm thread in here. Tape our tap in first just to give it a fighting chance. Once you get a feel for it, you can put the tap in the chuck just tight enough so that it will slip when it bottoms out. Either slips or snaps off, one or the other. You always get a result. That's it. These tight threads in there. I've got a little checknut to make for it, so I'm going to put a nice little taper on there just so it looks like something really rather than just a square end. It doesn't make any difference. It'll just look better. I'm going to make the angle a little bit shallower. Like that. And if this had been drawn out, the angle could have been specified. But I just want to make the angle how I like it. I like it. It looks better than a square shoulder, but it doesn't make any difference. That's just the way I am. This will be an uninterrupted cut part in the soft, so we'll have to be kind of careful-ish. But saying that, you just wind the tool in and do it. It's no good pissing about. Since I nipped the headstock bearing up on this lathe, I've found parting off being much less stressful. See, that's running out slightly because I did put it out with a chuck, but it doesn't matter for a parting off operation like this. Because I had the milling machine set up to pick the centre up, it's still set up on the centre. I've actually locked the wire access off. Put a piece in, a little bit of MIG wire down behind it so it doesn't lift up, like that. Right, so that's fairly well secure in there now. We can drill and ream the 6mm hole and then put the 8mm slot in, knowing that we're in the centre. Just going to put a little bit of scrap under there, just so while I come through with the drill, I drill into my vise. This is a 5.8mm drill, which is loose in the box with a 6mm reamer. The 6mm reamer I've got on a 1 Morse taper, so I'll have to go 1 Morse, 2 Morse to 3 Morse, and then into a adapter to take it to R8. I thought I had a straight shank reamer, but I obviously haven't. I mentioned before that reamers go slower and they go forward, you never reverse a reamer. I'll just slow this down enough just using the inverter. Plenty lube. Nice and gently all the way through. That's a 6mm dowel pin, and it really is an excellent fit in there. That's what using reamers is all about. Okay, so we can loosen the vise off, and now we need to put a slot in there. I'm going to put water on this just to try and give it a bit more life expectancy than it's got. Put a nice clean slot in. I'm not taking massive cuts, but I'm not playing with it neither. I don't want to break the cut that is a new one. I'll give it a little bit of life. So that's quite a nice, clean, tidy slot in there. A little bit of deragging to do, and that end to round off. Once again, just time to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And as always, a massive thanks for all the well wishes, and I'll see you all next week.